Hey there, how you doing? I'm Gabby Wallace and this is Go Natural English. Thanks so much for watching on YouTube and for listening to the podcast on iTunes and on Stitcher. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and on iTunes so you never miss one of the free English tips 3 times a week now. In this English tip, this is going to help you a lot with prepositions. We're going to take a look at a cheat sheet or a chart for remembering how to use prepositions. And it's not just a cheat sheet, but I'm going to share with you my methodology for learning language and remembering really tricky, difficult things like prepositions in English. So the most important point to remember, what's going to help you remember, is to connect ideas. Connection. Connection is the most important thing because in our brains, we know a lot of things, right? You're a smart person, you know a lot of things, right? Now, in order to learn new things or how to do new things, skills such as speaking English fluently, we need to make new pathways in our brain from the old things that we know to the new things or the new skills, new ways of doing things like speaking a language. So how do we make those pathways? How do we make it easier for our brains to process this new information and to do the new skills? We have to connect the old and the new. How do we connect? Well, I'm going to show you some examples about how I would connect prepositions. Let's say it's new information for me. Let's pretend I'm just learning prepositions with something I already know. So a connection could be an example. It could be connecting similar ideas or sounds or words that will remind you, something that you can bring up in your mind later on. A connection can also be related to a person or an experience or an emotion. And so that's one of the reasons why I recommend to practice English with a real person. I prefer online, and I actually want to recommend that you try a 2-for-1 lesson at italki. My friends are giving a special offer so that you can try practicing and connecting with a person, not just any person, but a native English speaking teacher who is qualified to teach, and you can claim your free lesson after you pay for your first one at gonaturalenglish.com/italki. That's ITALKI. So I want you to know where you can do that because I recommend to connect with a real person and use the language. I want you to connect the language with the use of the language and to remember how to use the language through your relationships with your teacher, with your friends, with your colleagues. That's how the language comes alive and how you're going to become fluent. But let me stop talking about my method and let's talk about the prepositions. So we have at, on, and in. And we have place and time. So these are prepositions that we use to talk about both place and time. So for example, let's start with place and at. I'm at the bus station. So how do I connect this? Well, at reminds me of a city in the United States, Atlanta. So I might think I'm at the Atlanta bus station. So next time I think about what preposition should I use if I'm saying that I'm blank bus station. I'm Atlanta. I'm at the bus station. So this is how we're making new pathways with your brain. Now, my example, Atlanta, might not work for you because if you're not familiar with the city Atlanta, it's new information. So I want you to connect I'm at the bus station, I'm at the train station. Maybe there's a city that you know that has AT in it, or maybe there's a whole nother idea that you want to connect this with. So let's look at on. So place, I'm on the platform. I'm on the train platform, for example, or I'm on the corner of Broadway and Main Street. So on is when you're on a surface, right? On is also something that we can connect with an idea like, let's see, I'm on, what would start with on? Ontario is a place that starts with on, right? O-N, Ontario, Canada. So if I'm on the platform to take the train to Ontario, I'll remember I'm not in the platform, I'm not at the platform, I'm on the platform to take the train to Ontario. So this is just another example about how my brain works and how I remember things, but I think it will work for you too if you take a minute to connect the preposition with an example in your mind. In, so place, you can use in to talk about when you're inside a place. So I'm in the station, I'm in the bus station. I'm in the bus station in India. So India, I-N, in. So I think, okay, in the bus station in India. So I'm inside the place. Now, time, at, on, in. I'll meet you at the bus station. That could be right outside the bus station, or it could be in the bus station. We're not sure, but at is a point on the map. So I'll meet you at the bus station at 3 p.m. So at a time, okay? At a specific time, 3 p.m. On time, well, on time is actually an expression in itself. I'm on time, I'm not late, something like that, or I'm on my way, means I'm going to a place. But for example, on a day, like on Monday, I'm going to Ontario. Let's see, a specific day like on the 10th of March, I'm going to be on the train platform because I'm going to Ontario. All right, and in, so duration of time, right? In 5 minutes, I'll call you. Or in a month, I'm going to travel to India, okay? Just an example, just to connect the ideas. So in is for duration, on is for a day, or sorry, in can also be for a month, like in March, I'm traveling to India. On is for a day, and at is for a specific time, and again, place, at a point, like at the station, at the airport, at the school, at work. On is for a surface, on the corner, on the street, on the platform. And in is for when you enter a place, like in the station. Like think of a box and you open the top of the box and you put something inside. So you're in the station, I'm in the car, I'm in the store, so in a place. All right, so I hope that this was helpful for you to get a quick overview of these prepositions, and I really recommend that after watching this video, actually, or listening to the podcast, that you watch or listen again and try to come up with your own connections that will help you to remember the prepositions. And then once you do that, I want you to try scheduling an online practice session and take advantage of the offer for a 2-for-1 lesson from italki. Again, at gonaturalelenglish.com/italki, I-T-A-L-K-I. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and on iTunes, and I'll see you soon in the next English tip, how to speak English fluently. All right, thanks so much for joining me at Go Natural English, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.